Hello, guys. Welcome back to Stagey Dom, the podcast chatting to some of the biggest stars in pantomime, musical theatre, and variety. And we've got one for you today. We've got the lovely Neil Hurst. Neil, how are you?
Oh, I'm great, thank you. Thank you so much for having me on, Dom. It's lovely.
That's all right. So, you just finished doing Panto in Nottingham, where you celebrated, was it 1,000 Panto performances? Is that right?
Yeah, it made
How
me feel
was that?
very old. It was wonderful. I had an amazing time in Nottingham. I've been working for Crossroads, the producers, now for about 6 or 7 years in Hull. Up in the Far East, and I had a brilliant time there. But the opportunity came to move to Nottingham, and I've got to be honest with you, I'd run out of new material to do in Hull, so so I can recycle it all in Nottingham. Yay!
Oh, fantastic. It was Cinderella, wasn't it? With Craig
It
Revel Horwood.
was, yeah.
And who else did you have?
Oh, we had Christina Bianco, Craig Revel Horwood, and an amazing, supporting cast. Some amazing, fantastic talent. I'll list them all. There's Ellie J, who played Cinderella, May Tether, and Britt Lenting, who played the Ugly Sisters. Sorry, the Wicked Sisters.
Yes.
Apparently, they're not ugly sisters if they're ladies. I
Oh, are
didn't
they
know
not?
that.
Are they not?
No, no. I got into trouble on day one. I said, the Ugly Sisters, how dare you? Um, Stevenson, Arjun Soje, and Dan Norford were the Prince and Dandini. And yeah, we had a great time. Honestly, it was absolutely fabulous and an amazing ensemble. We were very, very, very lucky.
And was it the Palladium set you had, wasn't it? From like,
Yeah, I
yeah.
believe so. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
It's the Cinderella set. So it's about 10 years old now, but it was gorgeous. Absolutely stunning. Yeah.
yeah. And did you find, like, obviously you've been doing Panto in Hull for a few years, you in Halifax before that. Were the audience pretty similar? Like, did you get the same vibe off of them, or yeah?
Yeah, totally. I've always approached playing the comic character as just being a naughty boy, and hoping people get my sense of humour. And thankfully, they have done everywhere I've been so far. Touch wood.
And how did it all start for you? Like, what was your first memory of live theatre?
Oh, well, back when I was a little boy, my parents used to be heavily involved in local Amdram, and subsequently I got dragged along and was made a part of it as well. And it's always been a part of my life. My daughter and my wife do amateur dramatics here in our local town. So, it really is just a massive part of everything I've ever done.
Hmm. At what point did you go, this is what you want to do? Like, when was that moment for you?
Oh, that's really interesting. So I'll be honest with you. I wanted to be an astronaut, and then we went with the yeah. No, we went with the
Still got
Cubs
time.
to. I know, yeah, totally. We went with the Cubs to the Bradford IMAX cinema when I was a little lad, and they showed this film all about space, and I felt so motion sick just sitting in the cinema watching it. I thought, well, that's it. I'm 7 year old, and my dreams of becoming an astronaut are out the window. What am I going to do in my life? But luckily, I was always really, involved with local Amdram and stuff, and it was leaving when I was about 15. My mum, who used to sing around the working men's clubs, said, why don't you come and join the act, because I could sing a little bit. And she said, why don't you come and join the act, and we'll put a double act together. So I started work when I was 15, going around the working men's clubs and pubs and stuff, singing and stuff like that. So I sort of did it from that age. And then when I turned 18 and I left school, it was like, well, I like what I'm doing. I can earn a weekly wage in a weekend, so let's do it. So I carried on with the singing. Then I decided to move into more musical theatre. Then I moved into variety theatre, and then pantomime came along, and yeah, and 1,000 panto performances later took me to this Christmas.
And what was the first Panto you did?
Jack and the Beanstalk in Middleton, just outside Manchester.
Okay.
And I didn't really know a lot about pantomime. I'd seen a couple, but I wasn't really aware of. I wasn't the kind of family that went every Christmas. It wasn't a tradition. It was just like, oh, pantomime's on, let's go watch it. So yeah, I went along, and the producer, a guy called Mark Andrews, absolutely lovely fella. He took me under his wing, and I worked for him for about 5 or 6 years, just learning how to do traditional pantomime.
Yeah. And at what point did you fall in love with doing pantomime? Like, what point made you want to do this every single year?
Oh,
Yeah.
year one, the very first year, my middle of Act Two, because I was silly Billy and everyone had left me and gone up the beanstalk. I had to sing a song by myself, and I got all the audience swaying their arms and stuff. And it was the first time I'd sort of like interacted with an audience because I wasn't really a very good comic in those days, but I just read what was in the script and they seemed to laugh at it. But nowadays, what I do, I take the script and go, well, that's funny, but I can put my own slant on it as well and add more to it. So yeah, but I just fell in love with it there and then. It was brilliant.
And how did you cope, like, with doing 12 shows a week, being thrown straight into it from day one? Did you cope well with it? Or even now, are you still knackered after 12 shows a week?
Well, back in my day, we actually started with 18 because we do 3 shows a day.
Okay.
Yeah, so you do a 10 o'clock, a 1 o'clock, and a 7 o'clock. Yeah. So actually doing a 12 show a week is a piece of cake now. But it is hard because especially for a comic, because you're always on for a start and you're always sort of thinking, what ad libs have I done already? What can I do in this show that I couldn't do in the last show? That sort of stuff. And I obviously changed my act for the different shows. So, if we're doing a family audience, I'll ask things like, are the dads annoyed that they're there because the mum's made them come because it's nice to do things as a family at Christmas? Whereas if I'm doing a school show, I just walk out and go, hello boys and girls, do you like shouting? I said, do you like shouting? And they, yeah. So it is a little bit different each show for me as the comic, which is thankfully really nice.
And do you find that each company you work with approaches panto differently? Because I can imagine theatre do it very differently to how Crossroads do it.
To a certain extent, yeah. But I mean, at its core, it's about delivering a brilliant product that the audiences will love. Imagine a so much more story based than Crossroads, but Crossroads are so much more sketch based and all the glitz and the glamour than any other company. And when I worked before with other companies, they were always quite a very traditional base, and they're all based in, these are the old gags that they were a big believer of everything old is new again. So there are loads of old gags that I used to like the busy bee gag and the echo gag, which you probably don't really see much anymore, but they're great, old fashioned gags.
And do you find, like, when with Crossroads, do they give you much room to do what you want to do, or was it very much here's the script, do it, or do you get a lot of input into?
Oh, well, no. So my initial reaction was when so I'd done 10 years with Imagine, and I was kind of at that point where I go, for everybody coming to the theatre who says, wow, Neil Hurst is in the show, there's somebody else going, oh, not Neil Hurst again. So I'm going to be really honest. I thought it was really time to make a change, and I was going to take a year off and be at home at Christmas with my wife and my daughters. But then the opportunity came to move over to Kudos, as it was then, and I was a little bit worried because these were the big guys. These are the guys who had the big stars, the big money. They do the big cities and all that. I'll just be, a small fish in a big pond. And when I got there, it was just totally different. Here's the script, put in what you want, and just enjoy yourself. And now I'm finding the scripts that I'm getting back. I read them, and it's like, oh, that's what I did last time. So they've gone through what I've done and quite liked what I've done, and now it's in the script. So it's lovely.
What's your favourite routine to do?
Oh, well, this year I did a routine with a teddy bear where I was singing to my teddy bear, and that was quite nice because Buttons. I was playing Buttons in Cinderella, and it's a very different character to any other of the comic characters because Buttons actually has, in Shrek language, he has layers. So he has this layer of vulnerability because he's in love with Cinderella, but Cinderella doesn't love him. And I had this opportunity to try and give Cinderella my teddy bear, and then I got cross with her, so I snatched it back. And then I did a duet with the teddy bear. That was my favourite routine this year. But I mean, there are loads of great routines. I like the 12 Days of Christmas. I like If I Was Not in Pantomime. One that I quite like doing is it used to be Tiddly Tree. That's the original thing. You'd stand next to the tree and go, and every time you told a lie, the Tiddly Tree would squirt you with water. But now it's sort of evolved into I stand next to something, and every time I tell a lie, a piece of clothing comes off, so it's all pulled off you like that, and you're wearing a skin suit underneath. That's brilliant. But it's a great example of how that gag's evolved over the years. It's really, really fun.
And where would you like to do panto? Obviously, you're in Nottingham last year, but was there a theatre you'd love to do it in?
Well, yeah, there are a couple of theatres. The London Palladium have been nice.
Yeah.
If you're watching Michael Harrison, chain hint. I'd love to do the Bradford Alhambra as well. My great mate Billy's done it for years and years and years, and I'd love to go there one day. So fingers crossed. But I have to be really honest with you. I absolutely loved doing Nottingham. Genuinely, I had a little flat round the corner. I'd get up, I'd mooch round, get a cup of tea, go to the theatre, and the audiences were wonderful. It's a beautiful city, a beautiful theatre. So I'm really, really happy. If it's the fact that I never go anywhere else, I'll be a very happy man.
And when do you normally find out where you're going? Have you found out for this year, or do you not know where you're going for panto?
I don't know officially yet because we haven't dotted the I's and crossed the T's, but I've got a sneaking suspicion. You what, sorry?
London Palladium. You're going to the Palladium?
Yes, London Palladium, yeah. Sydney Opera House, ain't big. But yeah, I usually find out sort of like February. Maybe we'll sign up at February, something like that.
Yeah. And so you also do musical theatre, and more recently you've been going around the UK as Edna Turnblad and Hairspray. How was that?
Yes, yeah, great fun.
In the world.
Yeah, I was doing the Full Monty, which was the play version of the famous movie, and I was playing Dave, who's the Mark Addy role, the fat one, and we'd opened in Cheltenham at the Everyman Theatre, and it's the same producers who produce Hairspray. And after the opening night, the producers came to us and said, "Neil, we'd love you to play Edna in Hairspray. Do you fancy doing that?" And I was like, "Wait a minute, you've just seen me naked on stage, and now you want me to be a woman? I mean, what's going on here?" But they said to me something which has really stuck with me. They said it's the best part in the best show, and they couldn't have been more right. Playing Edna in Hairspray is just the biggest joy of a role to play. I mean, well, it's Edna in Hairspray. What more can I say?
I mean, everyone who's played the part says it's a lot of fun. Even Michael Ball says it's an absolute hoot. It must have been fun just dressing up and mucking about.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
It was weird. It's the first time I played a woman on stage, and it was fantastic. It was maybe a scary look at the future of damehood. Maybe when I get too old to be playing buttons, but honestly, it's just the joy of a part, and being in Hairspray, you're one of the older members of the company as well, because all the nicest kids in town, they're all the recent graduates from theatre school. They're all in their early 20s. So I was missing my wife and my daughters back here, but I had lots of sons and daughters to look after, and I even had a husband, so it was lovely.
And what was your favourite bit about playing that part? I mean, she has many fantastic moments, but what was a highlight for you?
Oh, the money. No, I'm only joking. The real highlight was the number. You're timeless to me. I couldn't remember how it went then.
Yeah.
I only did it a few months ago. You're timeless to me in the middle of Act 2, which I got to sing with my husband Wilbur. It was played by an actor called Dermot Canavan, who we got on like a house on fire. We had an absolute ball together. But doing that number was always the real highlight of the show for me.
And how did your family react to seeing you in a frock? I mean, normally they're seeing you in panto. Now they're seeing you dressed up. Did they take to it well?
Well, they'd just see me in the Full Monty. They'd see me without my clothes on, so they were pretty relieved at least I was covered up this time. But yeah, one of the best things about doing Edna in Hairspray is it's such an iconic character, and my youngest daughter is a huge musical theatre fan, and when I said, "Oh, I'm playing Edna in Hairspray," she was like, "Oh wow!" And I said, "What's it like, seeing your dad up there in a dress?" And she said, and these are the words: "It's cool. It's a flex." I don't know what that means,
but we'll go with
No,
that.
I have no idea, but it stuck with me.
And did you have fun touring around the UK? I mean, you went to some amazing theatres. What theatre stuck out for you the most?
Oh, some amazing theatres all over the country. Um, Loads of different places. The Bradford Lamber always sticks out because it's my nearest to home, so that was quite nice. I'd walk out on stage and everyone would go. I would be holding a some laundry in front of my face, and then I drop the laundry, and everyone would see it with me. And being in my hometown, most places you get a cheer because Edna's arrived on stage, but in my hometown, it was, hey, Neil's here. So that was quite nice. And it was nice playing Hull, where I'd done panto for years, that I got the same sort of reaction there. But yeah, there was some gorgeous theatres up and down the country. Buxton Opera House is a gorgeous little theatre. And it was absolutely teeny weeny backstage, but just such a beautiful, intimate feel. And then we'd move it to places like the Mayflower in Southampton, which is a huge theatre. Birmingham Hippodrome, massive, massive theatre. Perhaps my favourite theatre of the run to play was the ones up in Scotland, because the Scottish audiences are just something else. They're brilliant, and just to be on the Kings at Glasgow, the Edinburgh Playhouse, doing Hairspray was just, well, it was out of this world.
Is there ever been a moment where you've stood on stage and you've performed in something in your head has gone, you can't believe you're doing this, like you're doing the thing you've always wanted to do? And
Yeah, in Manchester Palace, we opened Hairspray. And in the middle of this song, Welcome to the 60s, I'm taken behind some scenery where all the wardrobe and wigs and stuff are changed on me, and I come out and I've been glammed up. And I used to sing that bit in the car, sort of manifesting this job, I suppose. And I came out and I had to say, hey, Tracy, hey, baby, look at me. And I did it for the very first time in front of an audience. And I came out, hey, Tracy, hey, baby, look at me. And I could feel my eyes watering up, thinking, oh, my God, I can't believe I'm doing this. This is amazing. Ah.
it must be thrilling to you call this your job, because there's some people out there who do a job they don't like, and you get to do a job that you absolutely love. It must be thrilling for you.
Yeah, it is. It is great, and I'm very lucky. But I've got to be honest with you. I'm very lucky because of the support network I've got. I mean, it's hard to do it as single man. I'm very lucky that my wife's job luckily pays all the bills, so we don't have to worry about. We're not going to lose the house if I don't work. We just won't go on nice holidays. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's that sort of thing, and I think the support network is crucial to the way I do the job.
Yeah. And is there a musical or a play or anything you'd like to do? What's next on your bucket list? Because you've done everything.
Oh, I've done a lot. Yeah, I don't know. I'd like to do a bit more telly. I've in fact just this morning something's dropped on iPlayer I'm on. So Gladiators, epic pranks on Gladiators. It's a CBBC Gladiators program, and I play a character who pranks some of the gladiators. That's come out today.
Oh,
If you
okay.
want
Yeah.
to, if anyone's interested, check that out. But yeah, I like doing a bit of telly because telly's always good for exposure and stuff, and won't mind doing more TV. And I'm just happy. I've started going into YouTube and doing a lot of stuff on YouTube at the minute because, I kind of I've had a lot of great opportunities in this business, but for every opportunity you get, there's something that's dangled. There's a carrot that's dangled there, and then it doesn't happen. There was the opportunity of taking Hairspray to China, and I was so excited about doing it, and then unfortunately that fell through. And I was going to make a documentary in the States, and that fell through. So I was like, do you know what? A lot of things kind of falling through at the minute. Why don't you just go out there and make your own opportunities? So this is my 2026. I've decided to get out there and see if I can do something with this wonderful medium that is YouTube now, and podcasts as well. Like this, we're very lucky. We have the opportunity to send ourselves worldwide.
That's the thing about creating opportunities for yourself, because that's what happened to me about 5 years ago. I was waiting for that phone call from my agent and it wasn't coming. And I just ended up accidentally stumbling into stand-up comedy and accidentally writing my own show. And then literally, because I was working in a shop at a time, and I was cracking jokes all the time, and everyone was saying you should do stand-up. And I was like brushing it off, going, no, I'm not going to do that. And this theatre in London was looking for some new shows post-COVID. And I went, I might give it a go. So I messaged them and I went, I've got a little 2-hour stand-up show I can do. I didn't at the time. I won't tell them that, but I didn't actually have a show. But yeah, I've got a little 2-hour stand-up show called Tickle Pink the Camp Cabaret. And they went, oh, that's really up our street for our audiences. You should do it. And I thought maybe it'd be like in 7 months' time, giving me time to write the show. And they were like, can you do it next month? And I was like,
Whoa.
yeah. Booked it all in and spent the whole month writing this 2-hour stand-up show. The first audience had 5 people. So I thought, that's good, little number, try it out in front of. 2 days later, 32 people. I was like, help.
Nope. But that's brilliant because, like you said, the phone doesn't always ring. And, it's about seizing that opportunity and doing something and getting out there. And like I say, we're in a world now where we can do something. There's an audience for everything. I do a lot of writing now myself, but that sort of stemmed after COVID. But good on you, mate, for doing that because, what else is there to do? Let's get out and do it.
I'd rather get paid to make a fool of myself telling jokes than.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't take myself, no matter what job I do, I can't take myself seriously. So thankfully with holiday parks, which is what I do at the moment, I don't have to take myself seriously. I get paid to muck about.
Yeah, brilliant. And the holiday parks, that was a great sort of training ground. I did a lot of variety theatre when I was very early in my career, and I would stand in the wings and just watch and absorb it all and take it all in. And it was the same with the holiday parks. I'd sometimes be like the guest entertainer or the cabaret entertainer on the holiday parks, and you just stand there and watch and absorb it all. Because that really is where it is. A lot of people say to me, how do I get into this business? How do I do it? I said, just watch. Just go out and watch. Yeah. And then you absorb it.
That's it. I go and watch Panto every single year, and I look at what the comic does, and I try and insert that into any of the kids club stuff. So every time I get a kid up on stage, I go, you just stand there for me over the trapdoor.
Yeah, brilliant.
Sometimes it lands, other times they don't, because the trapdoors don't exist anymore. So other times they just don't know what you're on about. And I'm like,
yeah. Just stand there on the trapdoor. I used to do this. You'd stand there next to the star, and they'd look on the floor for the star. Next to the star, and they'd look for the star. And then I'd say, "What do you mean you can't find the star? I'm the star." I used to do that one quite a bit. Well, I used to love doing all that with the, talking to the kids at the end of the show. That's actually my favourite bit of a pantomime, because you can get the kids up and you don't know what's going to happen.
You never know what they're going to say. I had one kid once. I asked where they'd come from, and she went, "My mum."
This Christmas, I had a bit of an episode this Christmas. We'd been out to have a company meal, and it had played a bit funny on my belly. And the following day, I was on stage. I thought, oh, this just doesn't feel right at all. And it got to the end of the show. I got the 4 kids on stage ready to do the song sheet. And just my belly just went, oh, like that. And I thought, oh, God, what am I going to do? And I just said, right, guys, I pointed at the MD. I said, just play some music and I'll see you in a second. I had to run off stage, and I thought I needed to fart, but I didn't trust it. And I thought, if I do it here on the stage, it could be awful. Ran to my dressing room, quickly on the toilet, farted. That's all it was, and ran back time. All these kids are like, what's going on? I just had to abandon the show for like 30 seconds. It were awful. But hey, these things happen.
Live theatre for you.
Yeah.
That's the thing about Panto. If things go wrong, you can just go with it.
Exactly.
Hairspray, you couldn't do that, could you? If anything went wrong,
yeah, to a certain extent, you could. Yeah, there are moments. So Hairspray. So I'll give you a couple of examples. Great examples actually. Full Monty is a play, and we're very grounded, and a lot of that dialogue is presented to the other characters. So when you're on stage, you would talk like I would talk to the other character like that, straight looking at them in the eyes. Whereas in pantomime, you can deliver a little bit to the eyes, but you can also go out front and da-da-da. This is going to be wonderful. It's a brilliant day. And you bounce it out front. Well, Hairspray was a bit between the two of them. It's a musical, but it's also got them panto elements. It's big and it's heightened. So quite a lot of that script I can deliver to the character, but I can also deliver it out front as well. And it was a nice sort of, different sort of energy to, like the Full Monty, which I was doing, play, you're in the scene all the time. Pantomime, you're playing it out all the time. But Hairspray, there's a bit of both, and it was quite nice.
Yeah. And what was probably the best out of all the things you've done? What has been like the best highlight for you?
Oh, well, there's so many. I mean, I've just been very fortunate. I mean, loads of stuff. I couldn't tell you. I liked it. There's loads of TV shows I've done which I go, wow, I can't believe I'm doing this. Um, and yeah, I honestly don't know. I couldn't put it down. Hairspray was wonderful. Full Monty. I did a musical called Fat Fred. I'm just so on my wall in front on the other side of me. I've got like all posters of all the shows I've done. So I'm looking through them all, and I go, yeah, that were good. Yeah, that were good. Um, yeah, all the pantomimes I've done. Yeah, yeah, great,
I
loads of
saw you in
stuff.
Fat Friends, but it was a long time ago since Southampton. I saw it, but
Oh
my
yeah,
dad dragged me with it. And I didn't know what it was about, but I quite enjoyed it.
yeah.
It's a good little show.
Yeah, great show. And unfortunately, it went out again in 2020, but then COVID happened. So I think they only did a couple of nights and then it was gone. And then sadly, Kay Mellor, who wrote it, and Nick Lloyd Webber, who wrote the music, both passed away. So I don't know if it'll ever have a life again. I really hope it does because it was such a great show. It really, really was.
Yeah. And what it's if you could do any musical theatre role, like, would you love to play something like the Phantom? Is that something you'd like to do?
I'm too old and I can't sing that anymore. That the jobs I'd love to do are either too far in the future for me, or I've missed them. I'd love to play Tevier in Fiddler on the Roof. I'd
Yeah.
like to play Fagin in Oliver. Um, I'd um, I'd like to play Shrek, but only for a week because I think that'd be hard work dressing up in all that latex and everything every night. But yeah, I mean, there's loads of plays I'd love to do as well, all sorts of different stuff. So yeah, I'm just. But to be fair, I've been doing this for 30 years now, and I've played some amazing roles, and I've been incredibly fortunate. So I'm a lucky lad. If no ever happens again, I can still go. Do you know what? That was fun. I've enjoyed that.
Do you find in the time between the time you started and now the industry's changed? I mean, it's changing and evolving all the time, but it must have been very different back when you first started to what it is now.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll be honest with you. The beginning years of my CV, I've had to delete because they're either in prison, they've died, or an Operation U Tree. So, so no, I'm only joking. I'm only joking. I'm only joking. Yeah, it's a very, very different business now. Some for good, some for bad, actually, as well. I think. Oh, sorry, my clock's ding donging behind us. I'm gonna let it ding dong, and then it'll ding dong away.
That's all
What time
right.
is it? 11 o'clock. It's got to bong 11 times now. Sorry.
That's all right. That's fine.
I just bought it the other week and I don't know how to turn off the ding dong every hour. Dong. You can edit this bit out. Dong. Oh, forget it. But yeah, so I've done some amazing stuff, but over the years, it really has changed. But I tell you what else has changed is like the stuff that the way the actors are treated, and Equity have brought in loads of great stuff to sort of protect people as well, which it really is important. The money's gone up in certain scenarios, but in others it's just sort of plateau. I mean, when I used to work in working men's clubs and I'd sing on a Saturday night, I'd get 150 quid. Well, you still get that now. You might get it. You might get 200 quid, but it hasn't gone up
Yeah.
enough relatively. You know what I mean? But people don't go to the working men's clubs and pubs much anymore. So
Mm.
I understand that. In regards to theatre, yeah, just the like things like swings and understudies. Well, we always had understudies, but didn't really have swings a lot.
Mm.
So that's nice and a new thing to add to the add to it, which
Mm.
it's an extra layer of protection as well. Um, but also what has changed, I've often said the further up the ladder you go, things are always put in place
Mm.
which are nicer for you, like on Hairspray, for instance. Each week I got there and I had my own number one dressing room, and there were things which I had more comps than I'd had for any other show, and it's stuff like that which
Yeah.
which has changed more. The further up the ladder you get, the bonuses are a little bit nicer.
It must be thrilling though, isn't it, to stand on stage and play a leading role in a musical or in a play, knowing that however many years ago you were doing the working men's clubs, and now you're in the number one
Yeah,
dressing room, and that must be quite nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
Last was not October. It's just gone. The October before we were at the Edinburgh Playhouse, and Edinburgh Playhouse seats something like 3,000 people. It's massive, right? Unfortunately, at the time, my nana was very, very poorly. And she was, she was very old as well. And she passed away while I was on stage at the Edinburgh Playhouse. And I was in dressing room number one, and I came off stage, and there was my phone had rung, and it was a message from my mum saying to give her a ring. So I was in the biggest dressing room, the number one dressing room of the number one theatre in the country. And I sat in a big armchair, like the one I'm sat in now. And I rang my mum, and she told me that my nana had passed away. And for a second, we were all expecting it, so it wasn't anything awful. But for a second, I thought, me nana would write like this, that I'm in the number one dressing room of the biggest touring theatre in the UK. And, I started doing, the little working men's club down the road where there was about 50 drunk men in it. So
That's not changed now. You get that Hairspray, don't you?
no, that's exactly the same. Yeah. But, yeah, it sometimes it can be humbling. The other night we were invited to the Palladium, so we with Crossroads when their last night at the Palladium is they tend to invite their top of the bills to the Palladium to watch the Palladium panto and join them for the party afterwards. And we were invited there, and I just nudged my wife and I just said, I can't believe we're here. And I look around, there's David Tennant's over there and Basil Brush is over there. And, it was that sort of wonderful mixture of different people. And, I can't believe I'm in that gang, shall we say. And that's lovely and very humbling.
I saw photos of that. It must be like a little busman's holiday. Everyone from the panto industry is there all together watching panto.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it was rather. There was one moment where I looked around and there was all those comics standing together. Well, I said this, no, I said that, and well, coming up with funnier lines, and it was nice. It was really nice because a lot of people think there's a competitiveness, and perhaps younger me was competitive, and I wanted to be. I wanted to be Billy Pierce. Billy Pierce is the guy who does the panto at Bradford Alhambra, and I worked with Billy for years doing the straight man stuff in Blackpool and summer seasons and stuff. So I've known Billy for years. I always wanted to be him. So when I was doing Halifax, I would watch Billy in the summer, and I wouldn't steal his material, but I'd watch the way he did stuff, and I'd come up with my own jokes that kind of fitted in that style. But then eventually I thought, well, why am I trying to emulate somebody else when I can be my own performer and do this? And that's when it really sort of dawned on me that I can do anything really. I can do anything and be anybody. So, why am I competing with other people? Just be as good a version of me as I can. And it's luckily Touchwood served me quite well.
Do you wish summer seasons were more of a thing now? Because they don't exist really anymore. But I wish they'd come back because I'd love to go and do a summer season.
Oh, they were wonderful. I mean, but I sort of saw the tail end of that side of the business, really. I did when I had some seasons, Blackpool, I did 3 in Blackpool, 4 in Scarborough, 2 in Bridlington, and 1 in Clacton. So yeah, I did quite a few over the years. But it was you'd look out and every year there'd be less and less people, and it was 50 Shades of Grey, but the grey would be grey hair. You know what I mean? They were just getting older and older and older with the audiences. And understandably, people don't holiday like they used to anymore. I totally get why it is what it is. It was a piece of nostalgia that we won't ever get back because people don't go to Scarborough for the weekend anymore. They don't go to Blackpool for the week. They don't do that anymore. It's expensive, it's cheaper to go away abroad, and I totally get it. But it is a shame. I did learn a lot there. I would stand in the wings and watch people, and I worked with some amazing people over the years there. Cannonball, Ken Dodd, Billy Pierce, as I said, the Grumbleweeds, just all these great entertainers, and you just stand in the wings and absorb it.
And one final question for you. What advice would you give to anyone wanting to come into this industry?
Well, like I said, go out and see a lot. go out and watch theatre. If you want to be in musical theatre, go and understand it and watch it. And you'll get a lot of no's. I was doing my so I've got a spreadsheet on my computer. I love a spreadsheet. My children they joke at me and say, "Oh, put it in a spreadsheet," because I do love a spreadsheet. And I was looking at the spreadsheet and it lists all the auditions I've had. And the last audition I went to and actually got the role was February in 2023, and it's January 2025 now. So it's nearly 2 years ago since I went and did an audition and got it. But luckily, I've been asked to do loads of stuff. But, an actual going to an audition and getting it was 2 years ago. That's 40 odd auditions ago now, yeah. So you do get no a lot of the time, but that's absolutely fine. It's understandable because, the producers and the directors, they're looking for something perfect. And if you don't fit what they want, don't worry, something will come along eventually. And eventually you get to the point where you're like me, where people know who you are and they just ask for you, so don't be too disheartened.
Thank you so much for joining me today, Neil. It's been an absolute pleasure. And hopefully I get to see you in Panto this year. I've got a bucket list of people that want to go and see in Panto, and you're right at the top. I spoke to Jamie Leahay the other day, who was in Bromley with Sue Pollard. And
yeah.
You two at the top of my bucket list. I've slowly
started. Bless you. He's a great performer. He's a lovely lad. We've never actually met, but we've conversed a few times on Instagram, and he's a really, really, really good. I've seen loads of his clips. He's really good, but he's young and he's up and coming, and it's great. There's a guy called Max Fulham who I was speaking to the other day, and he's great, young and up and coming, and I think they all look to me now as like the seasoned professional now.
I saw Max this in Southampton, and he was phenomenal. He stole that show.
Yeah. And just great. Who actually respects the business as well, because he's doing a ventriloquism act, and that's quite a niche thing as well. But he knows all about it. He knows the history of it and everything. And yeah. I'm very excited for pantomime in the UK when you got great young people like that coming up and just going to smash it.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Neil, and good luck with everything you're doing this year. And like I said, hopefully I get to see you in Panto at some point. Or
yes, fingers crossed. Well, thank you, Don. Thanks for chatting with me.
That's all right.
And it's lovely to natter with you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Neil. Thank you.
Thank you, mate.
Bye.
Bye.